Hey everybody, welcome to Voices Randomness, Facts and Fashion. I haven't been on for a while, just been trying to chill for a little bit because it's crazy out here. Y'all know how it is. I got four topics that I really want to cover tonight. The first one is about the Super Bowl. The other one is Wendy Williams and then Cowboy Carter. And then I want to ask you a question that I want you to answer in the chat. With that being said, let's get it. All right. So I'm going to start recording here because I wasn't recording. I had to step away for a minute. All right, welcome to Voices Randomness. Of course, if you haven't been here before, my name is Eldridge D. Alexander, and I am the host of Voices Randomness, and this is a channel where I engage in dialogue, enlighten, inspire, and uplift you. So right now, what I really want to talk about is a couple of things, but I want to share my screen with you in a few moments. But like I said, there was a lot of controversy about the Super Bowl, and some of the people that don't look like us, they not like us, complaining that there was not any diversity, if you could believe it or not, on the Super Bowl. Now, our current administration doesn't like diversity, so we were just simply following the rules, and we decided that since you didn't want any diversity, then of course, since it was us and you're not like us, we didn't include any diversity. We're just simply following executive orders. So if you didn't like the fact that it was no other colors there except for the people that look like me and Kendrick and all those people, shame on you. Because I was telling a friend of mine when we were talking about this, I said, I can recount, I'm a baby boomer. I was born in 1958. I'm 66, almost 67 years old. And I can tell you that most of my childhood life, I grew up watching programs where there weren't any people like us. I can tell you that we used to look forward to the Jerry Lewis telethon because we knew that people like maybe James Brown was going to be there. The Fifth Dimension featuring Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. Y'all know who they are. If you don't, look them up. But we rarely saw people like that look like us. You cannot tell me that people were not excited when Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 was on the Ed Sullivan Show, because I can go down a whole list, and I may post it for you, a list of TV shows that were airing between 1958, when I was born, up until 1972. And I can tell you that there were days when I could go and I could watch Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke. I could watch Gilligan's Island. I could watch F Troop, Hogan's Heroes, and I could name on and on and on, where you would look at these programs and there weren't any people like us in any of those programs, and no one seemed to complain. And now all of a sudden, because you don't see yourself in those images that were portrayed in the Super Bowl, which you supposedly think is for everybody all the time, any place and everywhere, you got upset because you didn't see yourself. And I say that this calls for you to really stop and take stock of the fact that that's how you experience empathy. How does it feel to be left out? How does it feel not to see yourself represented in any images? We've been looking for years of things that come on TV and we're nowhere to be found, but no one has any outrage. We simply do like Kendrick Lamar suggested at the end of his performance. We turn the TV off. You're always in control, and when you start to feel like you're out of control, then you want to scapegoat and blame other people and call them to say that they're out of line. No, these are the rules that were made by the executive people. If you look at the cabinet, you'll see what they look like. I don't have to tell you. And basically, media images tell you the world in which they hope they want to live in. And this time, they got the okey doke, because basically, we showed you what it would be like if there's a world without you present in it. And you've been showing us for years what the world would look like if we weren't in it. All you have to do is go look at Friends, and it tells you that late in the early 90s, early 2000s, where you had an opportunity to include people and you didn't do anything until the very last episode. So that tells me a lot, and maybe you'll understand empathy now with all the other things that are going on, FAFO, with all your benefits being rescinded, SNAP, WIC, Head Start, food stamps, the whole 9 yard, rent assistance, none of the things after 54 years of working that I'm ever going to be eligible for, even after paying a shitload of taxes in. I had somebody the other day said, that the president is doing all this for me if I'm somebody that paid taxes. No, because I don't make $360,000 a year. And that's the threshold of which you're going to stop paying taxes and start to see a return on your taxes. So while they're dismantling everything, go ahead and dismantle the IRS and don't make me file another tax return. I'm stressed the hell out right now anyway, because every year I end up having to pay for services that I'll never, ever, ever be able to use. So for those of you who are complaining about the Super Bowl not representing you, okay, blame that on you, because the thing about it is that, like I said, there's been a ton of times, and mostly all my life, I've looked and I've seen nothing but people, you know, that don't look like me. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. And so I want to just give you a little bit of an overview of what I see here, right? So let me just do this so I can share this with you. So here's just this picture, and I don't want to play the music, because what'll happen is if I play it, then I will my video will be demonetized. So I don't want to play the music at all, but you can see what's happening there. Sabrina has her daughter there, Kendrick is there, and I'm not really sure who the other lady is, but this is enough for me. And it just explains why it was so important for us to have the Super Bowl this year and do the Super Bowl the way it was. It's not always about shucking and jiving, and we've seen that even in our times, and we've been looking at your videos. You have messages in your videos like, don't try this in our town, in a small town. Okay, and you didn't see us all bent out of shape. We simply get up and welcome to Voices Random and just turn the damn channel. All right, so let me pause this. I've been trying to chill for a little bit because it's crazy going on back here. You know how it is. I got 4 topics that I really want to cover tonight. The first one is so really I'm recording myself and doing this, so I'm just gonna stop for a minute. And then I want to ask you a question that I want you to answer in the chat. With that being said, all right, I'm gonna close that out. All right, sorry about that, y'all. You know how things can happen. I'll just edit that out. All right, so I want to know what your comments are. I've seen a lot of analysis about it, but this is what I want to say that nobody really said anything about, y'all. When I was watching the Super Bowl and I was listening to K. Dot, the one thing I noticed is there's a line or there's bars in his song. They're not like us, and I'm gonna pull it up and I just want to read you those lyrics in that They're Not Like Us, because he's so smart. He left out specific lyrics, and I was waiting for it. I was sitting there with bated breath, waiting for it, because I specifically tuned in just to see how he was going to take the music, right? Because I heard things from To Pimp a Butterfly. You know, it was a lot of really good music that I heard from all of Kendrick. And I can't cite all the songs, and you don't need me to cite all the songs because you know them, right? So I'm just going to go in here and I want to get these lyrics of They're Not Like Us, or They Not Like Us, right? So here's what I want to, this is what I want to prove, what I want to point out to y'all on the lyrics. All right, so I got that. So let me just go to Google this real quick. It's one of them nights, y'all. So where you know, you're trying to find everything, and I have everything up, but it's just like, eh. All right, so here, let's Google. And let's go to the lyrics for They Not Like Us. All right, so They Not Like Us lyrics. And I want y'all to listen to what I say was left out. And I think that you probably want to go back and look at these lyrics, right? He has on here, there's this verse, and it says, used to be a time when we was in chains. And I don't think that everybody listened for that, because he left that verse out. He stopped and came to the next verse after that. He didn't do the third verse. He didn't. And so there's a lot of critical analysis on this, where they're talking about that the song Not Like Us has been met with critical acclaim for its contagious production, Lamar's vocal performance, and scathing songwriting. GQ Frazier Starp dubbed the track as a leading contender for Song of the Summer. Of course, we know that it won Grammys for Song of the Year, right? The banger sustained some of the raucous party starting homegrown energy to deliver Lamar's haymaker that both out-strategized and celebrated West Coast upbringing. Because you can see with the Crip Walk that Serena did, and both of them being from Compton, it signifies movement in the African community. You know, we always been about that movement and stuff, and way to find dance and interpretation to reflect the mood right now that's going on. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the full lyrics of They're Not Like Us, the lyrics, They Not Like Us. I keep saying there because I've been taught so much to look at English communication and really think about what I'm saying. But it's just the lyrics. It's 4 minutes and 34 seconds. The song is produced is on the Interscope label. So yeah, yeah. Make sure you go in and listen to that full song because it is the longest running hip hop #1 song on Hot Raps and Hot R&B song charts. It peaked at top 20 in Australia, Canada, and several European countries. So to the white people that's out there, and I said white people that's out there saying that they didn't know who it was, and there's this one black guy, I think his name is Tim Brown. You need to go sit down somewhere. He's a MAGA supporter saying people, he was out with a bunch of white people at the Super Bowl, and they didn't understand the song. Well, duh. You know, and a lot of them was probably faking the funk, right? So I just say go in, listen to the song, and really understand what verse was left out. There was a verse that was left out. So if you remember what the verse was, or if you know the specifics of the verse that was left out, rock with me there and go on and enter it into the chat, because that was the first thing that I saw. I said, oh my God, he's not gonna go to those full lyrics. So I've got the lyrics here right here. I pulled it up and I just want to pull it out. Lyrics, not like us lyrics, music match. All right, I found it. Let's see. Let's see. It's literally, wrong day, right guy. Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still doubled down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca, building roads, building railroads and train. Bear with me for a second. Let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using us town folks to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you. This is a real inward challenge. So the thing is I used to see this when I lived in Milwaukee, is that Milwaukee is not like a place where people come when they really want to do a big concert. When they need some quick money, they come. So what I see, what he's saying is that, you're Canadians or you're other people from outside of the country, and you don't really leverage the culture until you really need some money. And I've been seeing this with countries, people from making videos in other countries using the clapbacks from Black people or the FAFO videos to try to get their channels up. And we already knew that those people over in that other country didn't really have any love for us whatsoever from the stories that we've heard, that we're American Blacks and they don't see us as being anything of value, that they actually see us as inferior. So the fact that they're taking and leveraging Black American culture, hip hop, and all of the things that have happened to increase the subscribers on their channels, it's ironic, y'all. It's really ironic. You don't have nothing to do with us and you talk about us like we ain't shit. But then as soon as something happens over here and you find a way to leverage it, it's just like everybody else. You take our culture and you leverage it in all those other countries to make a story to boost your channel. So that's what I see going on. And that's just me. You don't like it too bad, but that's what I see going on out there. All right. So that's why you have a lot of people from Africa and Australia and all these other countries talking about the Super Bowl performance, because they're looking to build their channels and get views. That's why they're talking about the FAFO. That's why they're talking about anything that has to do with the executive orders that are being issued here in the United States. They don't really give a damn about us. Like Kendrick said, they not like us and they don't care about us. That's what the damn song should have been named. They don't care about us. They don't care about us, because that literally is what it is. No one gives a damn about us unless you can find a way to make money off of us. All right. So now I'm going to move on from that. Shout out to Serena Williams. Girl, you look good out there crip walking. I loved every minute of it. And I don't care what the haters say. You did your thing, girl. All right, on to the next thing. So you see, it's a ton of stories out here about everybody trying to interpret what the Super Bowl meaning was from what he said. I would love if Kendrick, if you ever see this video and you hear from me, go on Sherry Shepherd and talk about what this meant, okay? And let everybody else go sit down, right? Be humble and sit down, like you said. I love every minute of it. I love every minute of it. And the fact that Samuel Jackson was a Black man in the Uncle Sam, it looked like Uncle Tom to me. I'm just saying, that was me. Like he was showing the Uncle Tom or portraying the Uncle Tom persona that you're the house person that's advocating for the massa, right? The big picture. So I get where Kendrick came from with this. And the key thing about it is that what did he have? 133.5 versus 133.2. And everybody saying it was Born with Damage. You watched it. You watched it. So the fact that you can't understand is what you hating on, is because there's coded language that you never gonna be like us and really understand what we're talking about, and we really don't care. All right. So on to the next thing, everybody. Wendy Williams. Wendy, my girl, we miss you, but I think I'm gonna have to take up the space where you were. I don't really talk about people or anything, but I really just want to talk about you. Here's the thing that came out about Wendy Williams, y'all. It's deep. Let me share it. Let me just you know, share my screen. Okay, it says my screen sharing is paused, but I want to play this.
Pretty quiet recently, except for a rare public appearance at her son's graduation in December. No one has seen much of the talk titan.
So today, Wendy was shown in a window where she was talking on the phone, and apparently the person who compromised the integrity of her bank accounts, it happened to be her son. Yeah, that's what was deep, is that it happened to be her son who was charging excessive amounts of Uber Eats and all this other stuff on her credit cards, and it threw a flag up, because when you charge $20,000 worth of food in 1 month from DoorDash and Uber Eats, it's gonna raise a flag, because what the bank does is it looks at your regular spending patterns, and if something is off kilter, then they're going to make sure that they flag your account. I was somewhere and I charged some for $21.38. They didn't recognize the vendor. Wells Fargo sent me an alert right away, say, hey, do you recognize these people? Yes or no? Because we about to lock your card up. So now what I do when I go somewhere is I turn my card off and I turn my card back on. And technically I may just get another card, just because I've had that card for 4 years, and I may just get a different one. But listen at this. I'm hoping you'll be able to hear this.
She's been under a court-ordered guardianship, something she tells us she doesn't think she needs and now wants to change. Here's this morning, legendary talk show host Wendy Williams is fighting for her freedom. How are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm still in prison, so to speak.
The former queen of daytime has been in a court-ordered guardianship since 2022. Williams spoke with Nightline co-anchor Byron Pitts from a New York care facility.
Can you describe where you are right now?
Yes. Well, as I said, because it's a fact, this is the memory unit. That's what this floor is called, the memory unit. And it is true that these people who live here don't remember anything. Look, I don't belong here at all. This is ridiculous.
In 2024, Williams' care team announcing she was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia, which Williams vehemently disputes.
Frontotemporal dementia? How dare you? And I'm not saying you, because I've been accused of having that. And how do you prove it? By keeping me locked here, so that I can't look. I can't go out.
Her shocking diagnosis leading state court to deem her legally incapacitated. Now, in response to Williams publicly questioning her diagnosis, Williams's court-appointed guardian is asking the court for a new medical evaluation.
Now, look, y'all, as you get older, because like I said, I'm 65. Oh, Lord, I'm 66. Conservatorship on me, because I can't remember my age. No, I'm 66. I'll be 67 in September, right? So what happens is once you turn like 65, even in this country, they write you off. So for Wendy, because she had all that money and she was incapacitated for a while, I'm not surprised that her son, who was a young person, literally stepped in, and he's usually the person who you know and that you're closest to that does the hurting of you. So I hope that they do release Wendy soon and allow her to get on with her life, regardless of even if she does have prefrontal lobe dementia. I mean, she gets to choose who she wants as her caretaker, and it doesn't always have to be a family member, because we've seen in some cases where family members are not the best resource for giving care to people. So with that being said, I'm wishing Wendy Williams all the best, and I hope that she does get out of that conservatorship and get her life back. All right, on to the next thing. Okay, y'all. So the next thing is, and I said I didn't want to make a long video tonight, but it's all about the Cowboy Carter Tour, which I probably will not be going to because I'm not going to pay a mortgage for some tickets. I love Beyonce. I love her music and stuff, but people, when she did the Renaissance tour, they posted enough video online that I could stream it all together, and I had the whole concert. I saw her and Jay-Z in 2018. I was able to get in like the 8th row B at a concert. And even though the tickets are selling out fast, they just gonna be gone. I am a person who is a premium member on Verizon, so I could have got on and I could see the tickets I could have ordered, but I'd be damned if I'm gonna pay $1,000 or more for anybody. I'm not making anybody else rich. I have my own brand, which is Your Gear, sustainable 100% recycled clothing. All of my designs are original designs. So I'm working on my own bag. All right. I love you, Beyonce, but no, I'm gonna have to invest in me. So, but for those of you who are a Beyonce diehard fan and you want to get those tickets, make sure that you are signed up on her website, the fan site. As I understand that there's a date limit and a limit of tickets and a time frame and all that. I can't stress myself out about that with all the other stuff that are going on. But congratulations to you, Beyonce, for all that you've done for the music industry. Congratulations on winning your Grammys this year. And shout out to Blue Ivy, who's becoming a beautiful young lady. You're doing a really great job. And of course, don't forget Rumi and Sir next time when you're doing what you're doing. Okay, Jay, shout out to you too. But we're looking forward to the Beyonce videos. I know everybody is going to do some videos. I already have a Cowboy Carter hat. I got like 4 different hats. I got my Mook pants, my Mook cow print pants, boots, all that. So I can take some photos, upload them to my Instagram with her music maybe playing in the background or some type of caption, but that's as close as I'm gonna get to the tour because I really am thinking about like some other things that need to have happen, like making sure that I have enough money stashed in case I need to make a quick exit, stage left, if y'all know what I mean. All right, next thing that I really want to talk about, and this is I saved this for last because I might have to spend a few minutes on this. Okay, I want y'all to work with me here, and I don't want you to go anywhere yet. I want you to really understand what I'm going to talk about here. When I was looking at the cabinet of all the people that are in the new cabinet to run the country and what they look like and all of the dirty things that came out, like Pete Hegseth, you know, and Marco Rubio, any and everybody out there that's running, right, that's being confirmed. They all seem to have some type of a issue, for me to put it lightly. I'm not going to say criminal or whatever, but I'm just going to say they got an issue. Now, my theory is that the reason why all these people are getting these positions is twofold, maybe 3. One, $250 million. When someone puts that much money in your campaign, you know you had to promise a whole lot. And that's why you see the unelected guy in the White House with his son asking, why you in my daddy's chair? Why you in my daddy's office, right? Are you the president? I thought my daddy was the president. Y'all know who I'm talking about. While this person is getting all these contracts that are government contracts, to me, it almost seems like a conflict of interest. And I believe that if I was someone who did that, work for the government in that capacity and was getting governmental contracts and making rulings to help me to pad those contacts, I don't think I'd be there that long, y'all. We don't never get access to that kind of money, okay? The next thing that I believe is that, you know, that book that Ghislaine Maxwell has, I believe everybody's name that's kissing the ring, I believe their names are in there. I totally believe it, including people like, okay, so like Snoop got off, right, on his murder trial. I believe that something was promised way back. And I almost feel like Trump is operating on the Godfather. This is what I said, the whole Godfather philosophy. Okay, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help your business get to the top. I'm gonna give you a loan. I'm gonna cover this up. I'm gonna do all kinds of things to help you move. But remember, you never know when, you never know where I'm gonna ask for a favor. And this is what it almost feels like to me when all those people dance their ass down to Mar-a-Lago, is that they were down there to fulfill People thought it was a financial promise. I don't think it's that. I think it's an action-oriented promise where you told him you were going to do certain things in order to get that position that you got, get access to that money, whatever stocks or whatever. But the main thing is I think your ass is in that Jeffrey Epstein file. I think there's a lot of people in that file that are scared that if they don't do what's been asked of them, it's going to come out. Because if you notice that they say it's the last batch of unsealed Jeffrey Epstein documents, I don't believe it. I really don't. I totally believe that Diddy is a scapegoat and that he's just one of the pawns that they used. I believe that the fish that you're looking to fry are sitting in the White House and are already part of that cabinet. And I don't care what anybody says. It's just really weird to me that every other thing has been released except that woman's diary. Except that. And that you have all these people that suddenly get confirmed, where I've spent 54 years working my ass off with all kinds of degrees, certifications, actions, beauty, you name it. And because of the way I look, I will be classified as DEI. And don't get it twisted. It's not the D that they worried about. It's not the I. It's the E. Now, you think about the definition of equity and what equity means. Equity means access to resources that allow you to be able to perform your duties, right? At a level that you normally wouldn't be able to. So, for example, I want you to think for equity as like people who are in wheelchairs. I want you to think on the most basic term, the sidewalks that you see out there where they have the little dip so chairs can go down, or people that are immobile and they're in wheelchairs. That's the reason why you have equity. The bathrooms that you have at your concert venues that allow people to roll in the bigger stalls, that's about equity. It has nothing to do with the color of a person's skin. The buses that children ride to school, or the access to getting a free lunch, or something if you don't have the income because your parents were laid off, no matter what color you were, and you don't have access to food, that's an equity issue. And what I really believe is that they want to bring American workers to their knees so that they'll go out and they'll take those shitty jobs that no one wants to take. And that's why you have a lot of kids on here crying now about the fact that when TikTok was shut down, they were upset because they don't want to go out into the world. They've seen what has happened to their parents, their friends, their aunts, and all their elders. And like I said, I'm a baby boomer, and I've watched the trajectory of things, of how you had certain people in jobs that you said weren't qualified, and those people were more qualified than the people who were so-called overseers. And that almost looks like a call center to me, where you have all these people in that can barely read and write, and you bring them in to answer the phones, and you give them all the soft skills to do things. And then you have this person that's on their neck all the time. And I really believe that that's what they really want to go to. So if you deport all the immigrants, and then you use the principles of DEI to justify the H-1B, that visa, because it uses principles of DEI. It says that people, and it really blew my mind because it said that people of a certain culture and a certain background and upbringing, which is the very principles that DEI strongly fights against, to say it's not that you have a certain ethnicity or you belong to a certain, you have a certain cultural advantage because you were born Indian or what have you in another country. No, it's not to say that. It's to say that we take the best and the brightest of everybody. You look at all of the KSAs, right? Knowledge, skills, and abilities of everybody that's applied. And you look and you say, okay, who is the best and the brightest? What's the best match? And what resources does that person need, whether they're visually impaired, hearing impaired? That's why you have closed caption, right? For people who have a hard time seeing. That's why you have Braille for people who have a hard time seeing. That's why you have text to speech and all of the AI capabilities. It's not just for what people think. It's to give people access to tools that they need in order to be able to complete the work that they need to do on a daily basis. So unless you're putting people all out in the field and all they're going to do is manual labor to pick cabbage and carrots and stuff all day, people do need to know how to read, write, and understand math. So by pulling out the Department of Education, what you did this year, you're shutting that down. You're shutting out aid to other countries. But the Department of Education is strictly geared to people who have not been able to control their own education, and you'll never have access to controlling it again. You won't, because all of the Head Start programs, your kids eating a breakfast and a lunch at school, all that's going to be gone. And so for those people who were complaining about the teachers who were underpaid, those people who were complaining about the prices of daycare, the prices of private transportation, the prices of certain medications, you about to catch hell right now, because there will be no more access or no more equity to give your child the things that they need in order to be valuable to society. And that brings me to the other point. Maslow's hierarchy needs, it stresses that once people really have their basic needs met, like they have shelter, food, water, and they feel like they belong somewhere, then they want to go add value to the world. So you have a lot of people out here now that you're saying, I'm not going to allow you access to tools and resources that'll make you a whole person so that you can contribute to society. You're saying that to people, and that diminishes people's capabilities and the value of themselves, and you're going to see a big fallout, because some people are not going to do it because they simply are not going to do that type of labor, picking cotton, picking cabbage, and you better remember, this ain't the boomers that you're dealing with. These aren't the silent generation of the traditionalists, which was my parents, right? That's not that type of group, because you've had generations of people since 1976 or later that have been raised and have been shielded from any type of discrimination. You have them to be on the buses they want to be, going where they want to be, driving where they want to be, shopping where they want to be. When I remember, there were boundaries as to where I could go as a kid. And all of that is about to come back. So I say that dollars are going to need to be invested in the Black mental health community and support from the Black on Black community, because what's going to happen is the children of, not your children, but your grandchildren, and they're not going to be able to cope with what's happening, especially when police immunity is implemented and you're subject to stop and frisk. And especially since the Department of Education is being dismantled, and the only thing you'll have access to is a requirement that if you're between the age of 18 and 25 and you're a man, a white man, you got to register for the draft. I saw that today. They want to segregate the Army. They don't even want us to help go over there and help you to save this country anymore. That's how little they value us. So for the 92 percenters out there, shout out, go to my store, yourgid.com, get your shirt to represent 92%. Don't ask me, ask somebody else, because I'm sleep. Go, girl, go. That's my shirts out there right now. So make sure you do that. But like I said, the key thing here is I believe they really want to bring the average American worker, the 99%, to their knees, where you begging them to turn on the valves to give you food and the basic necessities that you need. I really believe that, because if you look at what's happening, you're cutting everything. So it's going to force people out of their homes to go do the work that they don't want to do. You don't want people to work from home? Okay, so you telling all the federal workers they got to come back to the office or they fired, right? You're telling people that are private businesses, don't hire people that are minorities. Okay, so we see you. You've set it up so we can't have things insured in our communities. So small businesses won't be able to get insured. Therefore, they'll have to continue to be at the disposal or the mercy of the large vendors. We're not going to do it, because see, I grew up in a time where I grew up under Reaganomics. I grew up under Nixon. I grew up under Kennedy. I grew up under Eisenhower. I've been through Clinton. I've been through Obama. I've been through Bush, and more Bush. So one of the things that I will tell Black people out there is that this is a key for you. If you don't know your neighbors, you better get to know your neighbors, because that's how we really survived back in the 60s and the 70s. Is we knew our neighbors, and we were okay with lending sugar and flour and maybe extra potatoes to people that lived in our same complex or lived in the area with us. So what breeds fear and contempt is when you don't know your neighbors. I know my neighbors on all sides of me going all the way down. They don't even look like me. I don't shovel my snow and I don't cut my grass. That's how good I know my neighbor. My husband is passed away 7 years ago. And I tell you, I was out shoveling my snow the other day. My neighbor's wife called him and said, do you know Eldridge is out there? And he rolled up on me and said, what are you doing? You know I'm your guy. You know I got you. Don't be out here. He's got the snowblower. I gave him my commercial snowblower. So he does both of our driveways. And I have one of the biggest driveways on the lot. So the fact that he rolled up on me and said, "Hey, what you doing out here? I don't want to see you out here doing this." I would never get that from neighbors who look like me, because a lot of times the women who look like me are so intimidated by their husbands or their boyfriends or fiance or significant other helping somebody that's a single female that may be a widow or whatever. They don't even offer to do that. So the only way that we're going to be able to survive is that you're going to have to let down your guard. You're going to have to get to know your neighbor, and you have to be willing to share things that you have. I remember that the lady downstairs and my mother, like if she didn't have eggs, my mother would send her a couple of eggs so she could make her biscuits. If my mother was short of flour or cornmeal, she would send it back. When we went grocery shopping, we always, if we would buy extra cans, and then people would flip flop and back and forth and help each other make these big pots of soup and things like that. And wasn't no small families, because it was 9 kids in my family. The people next door had 12. The lady downstairs had 3. People across the street, I think they had like 10 or 12. So people had a lot of kids, and everybody was making pots of soup and pots of greens and pots of beans. And if they had grew anything in their small gardens, even in the city of Chicago, they were sharing it. And that's the only way that we're going to get over as a community. So I told you that when I come on my channel, it's about facts and fashion. Tonight I'm talking about the fact of the matter is, Black people, y'all gonna have to start learning how to be a community. You're gonna have to learn how to share. And for the young people, we really need y'all to support us and protect us, not prey on us, but to protect us, because we're strapped and we don't want to take you out, but we will if we have to. So don't prey on the elderly in your community. Go out and help them with their grass. Go out if you see that their house needs painting or something. Why not volunteer to do those things? Yards need to be cleaned up. Don't wait for somebody to come in and save you. I believe my baby sister Mila over at Mila Chats with Mila, she was talking about how segregation is the only way, and in a way she's right, because I remember we had our own grocery stores and how we supported each other. We had our own laundromats. We had every single thing that we needed to have. And the one thing that I will say is that we had community, because people weren't so afraid that somebody else was going to get so far ahead of them that they didn't want to give them an egg if they needed it. With the price of eggs, we all as a community need to be pulling on eggs to try to get 1 dozen. It's going to take 12 families to put in enough money to get a dozen of eggs. And then we all going to get 2 or 3 eggs out the bunch. I don't even eat eggs like that, but I bought a dozen of eggs. And if somebody need an egg that I know, they could have them, because I probably ain't going to eat them. I tell you, the last time I bought eggs was in December. And I buy Eggland's Best. They were like $3.79. Now they're like $6. I could care less about an egg, because I'm a greens, cabbage, beans kind of gal. I will boil some shit up, and I got greens in there now. I eat greens for 5 days. I don't even care. It ain't that serious. I ain't been to a McDonald's in 25, maybe 30 years. I didn't go to a Popeyes in the last 27 years. I haven't been to, I think the last food places I went to were the Black food places here. Wilder's, which is a Black owned, like a really nice restaurant that you can have a sit down, you can have parties there, all that. I went to the Cozy Corner where I can get some soul food if I want some red beans and rice, and I go to the Jerk Joint where I can get some Caribbean food if I want to get oxtails and cabbage or whatever. Otherwise, I'll make it at home, right? Because that's how you save money, and that's how you ensure that the quality of the food that you're getting is the best food, it's the healthiest food. So those were the topics that I really wanted to cover tonight. And I really want to know what your frequency is on the Kendrick Lamar comments, the way that you saw the Super Bowl, what it meant to you to have all Black entertainment for once, and not have to have, like we always did in every Tyler Perry sitcom when it first started out, one person that looked like this, and then gradually over the season, they would, let you have an all Black cast, right? If you go back and look at Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns, you'll see how I can't even talk tonight, y'all. It's a damn shame. I probably need a drink. You can see how the series, the sitcom, evolved over time. When it started out and they had like 2 or 3 white characters in it, and then it suddenly evolved and now there were only Black characters. It's just like assisted living. I noticed that a lot of sitcoms, in order for us to get them on the air, we have to have somebody that looks like this. So I don't know what y'all complaining about, because this is the first time that it's been all like this. So maybe, like I said before, you develop some empathy to know what it's like when you don't see yourself represented in text media text, when you don't see it in the writing, when you don't see it in the video images, when you don't hear it in the music. So don't get upset because you have enough references, people. Y'all have enough references out there, people, that y'all can go to and you can look at stuff and you never, ever, ever, ever have to see us. So Super Bowl, what was it, 69 in 2025? You really? You could have turned the TV off. Okay. So I have nothing else I really want to talk to you about except that I want to know when them damn Epstein files are going to be released. You hear me? So I want to have your frequency on this. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Probably in the next couple of weeks. It's Black History Month. I really want to do a couple of videos to shout out some of the Black historians that I found, because I realized that Black history is American history. I've been learning my history since I was probably about 6, because in the Chicago public schools, we started our day off with Lift Every Voice and Sing, pledging allegiance to ourselves, that we were the best, the brightest, the boldest, we were the future, that I am somebody. I may be Black and I may be female and I may be poor, but I am somebody. I remember that. And for those of you who may not have remembered that, we talk to say that all the way, because the only way you can do this is you really got to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, from whence you came, you're always going to be struggling to find yourself. So on that note, I just want to tell you to have a really great rest of your week. Thank you for tuning in to Voices Randomish here on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me at Your Gear on Instagram. If you type in Voices Randomish, the two words, you'll find me under Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I think Threads. I don't do that other one with this. I don't touch that, because no. All right. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your week. I may log on tomorrow, because tomorrow is Friday and I might have to do my Friday night live on TikTok. I am going to do some fashion hauls, but to me, fashion took a backseat right now, because with everything that had been going on through the election, I had to literally take a break from social media, because I was going through some things. Because of the way that our people were responding or not responding, but also some of the things that were said about Kamala. It broke my heart, because I felt like she was representative of all women that look like me. And the way that people really talked about her and lambasted her and said, one, she wasn't female, she wasn't a mother because she didn't have kids and she didn't know what it meant to be a mom, or that she wasn't Black, which you don't realize that if you got one drop of Black blood, you Black and you consider it the N-word, don't care. The fact that she is female. So I saw a post and it said she's not a 34. Yeah, maybe she didn't commit felonies. Maybe she's not a liar, all those things, but she is a Black woman. So therefore we can't vote for her. And it just kind of blew my mind, because now people are upset because the things that were in Project 2025 that we as a people said, we've seen this playbook before and we understand that this isn't going to end well. People are like, we'll vote for this person because if he knows we voted, then he'll leave us alone. Like you thought he was going to go down the list, pull a whole fucking list of people who voted for him and look through for the M, the F, and the C if you were a B, W, a Hispanic, Asian, or what have you. No, that ain't how it works. And just for the record, I have a passport, I have a birth certificate, got my driver's license, my real ID, and TSA pre-check. What more you want? Okay, I'm a full-blooded American citizen. So I'm just gonna sit back. The next time you probably see me, I'll probably be doing this video broadcast. I didn't have no popcorn. I need the popcorn. And I want to say shout out to Tabitha Speaks Politics. Girlfriend, you've been holding it down. I don't know how you maintain your mental health doing all those stories on those FAFO. Cindy's Villa, I'm going to give you a mention just because you out there. D.L. Hughley, thank you for all the things. Reese Waters, dude, you be on it. You be having me cracking up. So I just want to say that to say this. You all have given me the incentive, the inspiration, the motivation to come back out here and do my thing on facts and fashion on Voices Randomish, because I was totally down in the dumps and I was like, I can't, y'all. I can't. My mental health was suffering. And so I want to thank all of you out there who've been doing what I couldn't do at the time that I could do it. But I appreciate you because it's time for these younger people to take up that mantle, because y'all, boomers and the silent generation, we tired. Y'all don't say nothing about us. You don't mention us. You forget all about us, but we here in the background and we just chilling because we see everything. We've been through this rodeo before. We've seen this movie. We've seen it and we know how it plays out. So for those of you who didn't use your vote, you may not ever have to use it again, because remember what he said, you ain't gonna never have to vote again. What if they overturn the Voting Rights Act and they make it so hard for you to vote? Then you get where it's going. You're going to be so frustrated with trying to vote, you ain't going to want to vote. They're going to make it that way for you. So you're going to have to do like Flav said. He said, do this. He said, you're going to have to do this. And it ain't going to only be here, but it's going to be all of us that ultimately have to end up, whether it's not going to major chains that supported the red agenda, whether it is not buying things online from certain, whether it is that you only shop at Poshmark and you come to a person like me on Poshmark where you can get 100% newly or maybe gently used items, stuff that I probably put on for a photo shoot and took it off and never, what you'll get it for a fraction of the cost from some of the major brands, from A literally to Z. So this is why you want to follow me, because I'm also going to be doing a giveaway to my members. So if you're not a member, make sure you join this channel and become a member here. And then also make sure you like, comment, and share. Go from the bottom up so that the algorithm recognizes my channel and pushes it out to you so that you know when I go live, when I do an upload of a video, or when I post something on another channel. To that end, I want to thank you for tuning in to Voices Randomness here on YouTube. Facts and fashion. For the facts tonight, we talked about the Super Bowl. Serena with her crip walk, girlfriend got down. We talked about Wendy Williams and her conservatorship and finding out it's always somebody in the family. You always hurt the one, somebody closest to you always hurt you. Cowboy Carter Tour dates are coming up, as well as where the hell is the rest of the people in those Epstein files? We want you to name names. So on that note, have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you in the next broadcast. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.